Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about queries in Salesforce. Salesforce supports two types of queries. One is SOQL and other is SOSL. What is meant by SOQL and what is meant by SOSL? SOQL is Salesforce Object Query Language and SOSL is Salesforce Object Search Language. So what is the difference between the two? Let's understand why we need query and why we want to write a query. Because whenever suppose let's take an example of login page. You may be witness with that login pages when you are logging to that Salesforce or any browsers like Facebook or um, Amazon, any website. If you are going to log in with their websites, they use it to ask you some details about what is your user ID and password. Please enter your user ID and password. By entering this user ID and password, how the application recognize that you are authorized user, because the application doesn't know who came in front of the application and filling the form. They only entering some data. By taking this entered data of the user, it fetch the data from the database and comparing those data, and if it is matches with the database data, then it reflect and saying that you are okay, successfully login, or it gives access to enter into the website. Otherwise what it says, we doesn't found your record, or otherwise user ID or password does not matches, please enter correct user ID. Otherwise, if you have if you don't have account, please try to sign up here. This is what the message you got here. What we can understand from this scenario, whenever uh, for every operation you are going to the database and querying the data and comparing some data to perform some operations. So that's why in SOQL, in Salesforce, we have two queries. One is SOQL and SOSL for our data, to query our data. So let's start the discussion. What is the difference between SOQL and SOSL? I have one file with me. Let's. This is the, like, suppose in why when you go for SOQL and when you go for SOSL. Suppose if you know the record, and if you know the object where the record is, and suppose let's take in Salesforce, you may have knowledge about accounts, contacts and opportunities. uh, if you have an idea about the record which you are going to fetch, like suppose you want to fetch an opportunity with the amount greater than 1 lakh, or all opportunities which are closed lost or closed won. So here what we can understand, the user want to fetch the data of opportunities with closed one. So he know the records where in which object are present. So on that case, if you know the object and fields and the exact records what you are going to fetch, then you go for the SOQL. And also one thing is, by with the SOQL query data, which are the records we get from the query. With that query records, we can do DML operations, like we can update the records or we can delete the records also, because we have an ID for that one. So that's why we can do DML operations with the query results of SOQL. Coming to that SOSL, in the SOSL, when we go for the SOSL, uh, we don't know. We have a name called, it is a, suppose it is a Tata Consultant Services. So with this name, is there any client present in our database? It may be account, it may be contact, it may be opportunity, it may be lead. I don't know where this exact name present in my database. I want to fetch the data by using a text literal. uh, and these results are aggregate results, like it get the data from the SA objects, not another single record, like single object, like is it present in the account. We will directly go to that account and fetch the data, but we don't know the exact object where these name literal are present or entered into the object. That's why we use the SOSL like a string literal. By using this string, we say that please fetch the data from the database, and then you will get that data and saying that, so I found this letter in an account object and contact object and opportunity object. So what, by using that one, so then by those result, do whatever operation you do. In this way, SOSL and SOSL are different with each other, and with the results of SOSL we are unable to do the DML operations. And what may be the difference is, like here I can let me read these sentences. Retrieve data from a single object or for multiple objects that are related to one another. So this is the keyword, multiple objects, but those are related to one another. Why it is saying you can get the data, it is saying like the relationship queries. So where you can, it is possible from the SOQL query to get the data of related objects. That is also possible. It is saying that one, and count the number of records and sorted out the records and retrieve the data from name, date, and checklist values. Like that, we can do that using a SOQL query. And coming to the SOSL, specify the terms that you are exact within a field, because SOQL can tokenize multiple terms within a field and build a search index for this. SOQL searches are faster and can be return more return results, because we are not going to the specific object. So that's why it's search entirely the database. So it is the results are very fast, and we get the data of multiple objects. Here in the second point we can see that, you could see that what it is saying, retrieving multiple objects and fields effectively where the objects might or might not be related to another. So here this is the key. In the SOQL, what we witnessed, though the we can get the data of the object or its related objects data, but here you can get the data in between the objects which are not in relationship also. We can get the data with the keywords. That that is the difference